please, if we may be upstanding one last time, and we're going to read together from the book of Judges, chapter 6, verse 14. Projector team, if you can help us, Judges chapter 6, verse 14, but I want it in the Amplified version. So Judges 6:14 in the Amplified. So once it's there, all right, so I guess you have to use the version up there. Okay.
The Lord turned to him.
All together, please.
The Lord turned to him and said, "Go in this your might, and you shall save Israel from the hand of Midian. Have I not sent you?"
Tumepoa, mi mwenyewe sisikii. So please, if we can do it one more time with more vigor, like you are being emancipated. Let's do it.
The Lord turned to him and said, "Go in this your might, and you shall save Israel from the hand of Midian. Have I not sent you?"
Thank you. You may be seated. So the verse we just read is Judges chapter 6 and verse 14. It's about a particular man who was a judge in Israel. So to give you context, because most of the time, we read a verse and we're so excited and you don't really know the full picture, okay? Israel, at this point in time, had gone through a process. They had come out of Egypt with Moses. Moses did not enter into the promised land. He passed away before he did, as did the fathers of that generation. Because the Israelites were in the wilderness for how long? Yeah, we have some scholars. And it was now Joshua who took the children of Israel into the promised land. When they arrived into the promised land, it was Joshua who then took the place of Moses, and he would sort of rule over the children of Israel, deliberate on their matters and make decisions. And then Joshua passed away. And when Joshua then passed away, the Israelites went through a period of being ruled by judges. And that's where we're reading from. So there were several judges. Samson, I think everyone knows Samson in our Bible. He was a judge. There was even a female judge, a prophetess called Deborah. And Gideon, who this verse is referring to, was also one of the several judges that Israel had. Now, the Israelites' situation was one that is a bit perplexing, but also kidogo inachosha akili, because they had a tendency of living life in spirals. So they'd be good and they'd do what God wants and they'd worship him and they'd stick to the commandments that God had given them, and then they would start to worship other gods and not do what's pleasing in the eyes of God. And then God would afflict or punish them in a particular way. And then they run back to God, and then the cycle starts again. So by the time Gideon is now coming into the picture, the Israelites were under some serious hard schooling or hard training. There were enemies that rose up against the Israelites, known as the Midianites. And for 7 years, they afflicted the Israelites. And the affliction of the Midianites was not like your normal or average affliction. It's almost as if this enemy had a way to monitor the Israelites. Because the way the Midianites oppressed the Israelites, it was always just before their point of breakthrough that the Midianites would strike. just before their point of harvest, that's when the Midianites would come in. I don't know, to some of us it might sound a bit familiar. This kind of monitoring spirit or this kind of monitoring enemy. It's almost as if they know, they have your calendar, they know when you're planting, they know when you're watering, and they know when you're just about to reap. And just at that moment, that's when they come in and they take what is yours. And so this cycle ensured that the Israelites suffered extreme poverty. They were so broken and beaten down because of this pattern where every time they think, I think they're gone now. Let's plow the land. Let's till the fields. Let's get to work. Let's start to make some progress. Just before they start to harvest, in comes the Midianites. And this is the point where God is speaking to a man. A point where God is coming to him and telling him what he's telling him. I want you to read verses 11 to 14 of the same chapter, just so that we get the context of how these words might have been baffling in the NKJV version. So Judges 6, verses 11 to 14.
Now the angel of the Lord came and sat under the terebinth tree which was in Ophrah, which belonged to Joash the Abizrite, while his son Gideon threshed wheat in the winepress in order to hide it from the Midianites.
Okay, just pause right there. When you hear the word winepress, a winepress is a place that people enter into to crush grapes that make wine. So it's basically that you enter into the old times, what a wine press was. You enter into that place and there you're crushing your grapes. Now the situation with the Midianites was so complicated that Gideon was threshing wheat inside a wine press. It got to a point where, and when someone is personally threshing wheat, it's not like you have a factory. You're basically threshing wheat to make bread for your family. But it was at a point where even individual progress could be monitored, could be seen, could be intervened. And so we see Gideon not able to thresh wheat out in the open like you'd normally do, but have to do it inside a wine press, hiding away from the Midianites.
Verse 12. And the angel of the Lord appeared to him and said to him, The Lord is with you, you mighty man of valor. Gideon said to him, O Lord, if the Lord is with us, why then has all this happened to us?
Does this sound familiar? Oh God, if you're really with me, why am I going through what I'm going through? Why is my life the way that my life is? We usually say that in our closet, in our quiet time. The only difference is Gideon had the chance to ask it face to face. That God, if I truly am that mighty man of valor, if you're truly with me and you're truly with the children of Israel, then why is our situation the way that it is?
And where are all his miracles, which our fathers told us about, saying, Did not the Lord bring us up from Egypt? But now the Lord has forsaken us and delivered us into the hands of the Midianites.
Thank you. So this is the mindset he has. This is his state. This is the state of Gideon when God is coming to speak to him. God is coming to speak to a broken man. The way that the oppression of the Midianites weighed heavy on Israel for 7 years, it left them emotionally bankrupt. Because every time you're just about to celebrate your breakthrough, you're just about to harvest, you're just about to seal that deal, they strike. It left them psychologically bankrupt because it's these highs and lows, highs and lows, highs and lows, and they weigh so heavy on the mind. It left Gideon and the Israelites financially bankrupt because it's from your harvest that you are able to sell and to make progress. But every time you sow, just before you reap, somebody else comes in and takes what is yours, and there's nothing you can do about it. So the angel of the Lord is coming to speak to someone who is emotionally bankrupt, psychologically bankrupt, financially bankrupt, and this is his state of mind. Might sound familiar. And with that state of mind, God is saying, mighty man of valor. He doesn't look the way that we look. He doesn't reason the way that we reason. But the state of Gideon doesn't allow him to see beyond his situation. And his response is that God, if you were really with us, so where were you all this time? Do you not see what I'm going through? Do you not see my oppression? Do you not see these unhealthy circles, these unhealthy patterns in my life? Where are you? Our fathers told us about you, how you brought them out of Israel, how you helped my mother, how you helped my father. They believe in you, but I don't see your hand in my life. I don't see your might in my life. I don't see your intervention in my life. What about your miracles? Are you really a miracle working God? Is this really the kind of God that you are? One who would sit back and let me go through what I'm going through. Sit back and watch as the enemy tramples on me time and time and time again. It's been weeks, then it was months, then it's years that you've let these things happen to me. This is the space, the mindset that Gideon had. And this is the internal battle that Gideon had when the word of God was coming to him. But what I love the most is even after all that back and forth, the word never changed. In fact, the word went and placed responsibility on the same person who's emotionally bankrupt, financially bankrupt, psychologically bankrupt. And in verse 14, God is saying to Gideon, go in this your might. Go in this your might, in the Amplified Version, or go in this might of yours. So it doesn't matter what you're saying to me. It doesn't matter the space that you're in. Go in this your might. So often in life, we want God to do it for us. God, do it for me, oh God. Open that door. Bring my destiny helper. Bring that money. Let it rain. Let it flow into my life. Oh God, you are a God of wonders. You are a God who can do everything and anything. So God, I'm believing in you to do it for me. And yet that same God is the one who is challenging an emotionally, psychologically, financially, physically bankrupt person and saying, go in this your might. Don't wait for me to do it for you. You have it in you. Everything that you're looking for, everything that you're waiting on me to do, you already have it in you. So maybe you are in the educational sector and you look at it and you say, God, do something about this educational system of Tanzania. And God is saying, lady, go in this your might. You know, I recently came across an article. It was talking about Germany, okay? The educational system in Germany. Do you know that now in Germany, there is a child who can opt to learn mining as a subject? Mining, uchimbaji madini, as a subject. Name to me 10 minerals that can be found underground in Germany. Hawana. And yet us in Africa, we don't even have that as a subject for children. Maybe ukutane nayo university level. This is being taught to children. Anafundishwa ruby, ambao haipo, diamonds, gold, copper, uranium, all these things that are actually in our country. That shows me that a child in Germany is more equipped to come and make money in my country than me who is here and my children and my children's children. Here we are labeling insects. Tunafundishana mtoto wa mjomba wa shangazi anaitwa nani? They are my relative. Inatosha. How does those relational issues really impact and prepare me to make a difference in my country? And yet we have a small child studying things that they'll never see unless they purchase them. People can't even dig them out of their own ground, and us who have it in our ground. Tunajua nini? Labda zile periodic table ndo mlimezeshwa. You know, somewhere on the periodic table there are those elements. It needs help. And yet our response as believers is, fanya njia Mungu, muinue mtu, leta mabadiliko. Go in this your might. If you're in that educational sector, go in this your might. I want to talk to women today who are not throwing pity parties or waiting for someone to change the situation, but rather say, I want to be the change that I want to see. You can't be in the health sector and every day we're just praying for it. Oh God, our hospitals, the mortality rates are so high. Wages za madaktari. There is this and there's that. Oh God, fanya njia, fanya njia. Go in this your might. Entertainment these days is terrible. You can't even sit your children in front of the TV screen. And you're in that space. Go in this your might. Do something. Don't just sit there. Do something. In that field that you're in. You're in the educational space. Watoto siku hizi wanaharibikiwa, sijui nini. Go in this your might. You're in media, you're in law, you're in health, you're in whichever sector that you're in. Go in this your might. Bringing change, it's also ministry. I'll be so disappointed if all of us here, we are just waiting to stand here, thinking that this is the only ministry. This is the only way to do ministry. No. Even I don't believe in that. I want you to see me in the papers, in the field that I'm in. I want you to see me on blogs, on posts, brokering billion deals. I want you to read about the change that I'm able to bring, the impact, the movement, the shake, the disruption that I'm bringing in the space that I'm in. It's not about singing or in the pulpit. Go in this your might. I want us ladies to live here and we go and be a sign and a wonder. We go in this our might. We're not waiting for a president to do it. We're not waiting for God to do it. We are the change that we want to see. There's a mindset as believers we need to correct. Ikitufanya Mungu, fanya Mungu. Yes, anaweza akafanya. Lakini na wewe una nafasi yako. And most often when we are crying to him, he's looking at us and saying, I've given you everything that you need. You are more than able. You are more than equipped. You're a spirit-filled, knowledgeable woman. Why are you waiting on me to do it? Turn to your sister and tell her, go in this your might. I want to see some exploits from you. No, tell her, I want to see some exploits from you. Testimonies ambazo tunashangaa. Yeah, we meet in WOV and that's what we're talking about. Kwamba, I thank God, through me, an investor came in to this industry and 1,000 jobs have been created. We can't just keep saying kwamba graduates wanahitimu masomo, hamna kazi, sijui nini. Kwa hiyo waombe, wakabe, wafanyeje. What are you doing about it? Go in this your might. Be empowered today, knowing that there is a reason for you to be doing what you're doing. By the way, if you're not doing anything, then my sister, see me after service. We will lay hands. This is not a ministry where you are here, unaamka asubuhi, you're twiddling your thumbs, you don't even know how your day is going to play out. Kama huna kazi, basi uwe na biashara. Na tukisema biashara, iwe biashara inaeleweka. Yes, one that is keeping you busy. Huwezi ukaniambia una biashara kwa wiki una mteja mmoja and you have just one business. That is misuse of resources. It doesn't just happen in our government. It happens in your life if you are not utilizing what God placed within you. As smart as you are, as able as you are, as intelligent as you are, and you have nothing tangible era under the sun. A serious one. I recently met a lady. She's a member. She's not here, so maybe she's listening. She said something to me and I said, these are the kind of people that we need. She was so excited when she saw me because she didn't expect to see me where we met. She said, oh, there's something I even want to show you. And she's looking for her phone and she's like, you know what? On my computer, I took a paper and I wrote and I stuck it on there that Mamfe has 3 jobs, 2 children, a business, and a ministry. You're lazy. Like, that is what she wrote and stuck on her computer. And she was like, I'm full-time employed. The job that she's working, it's a serious job, like in an international organization. She was like, I'm full-time employed, lakini actually it's good I saw you because I want another job. Ulifanyeje uwe na kazi 3? And it's not like she's low on pocket change, no. But it's just that I feel I have potential that I've not exhausted. And I want you to show me how I can do more. That's what I like to hear. You need to ask yourself, how can you do more? What you're doing, is that all that you can do? Is your vision, it's that small? Your vision is that small, that uncomplicated, that simple. That's the size, the breadth, the depth of your vision. Is that what you are doing right now? There must be more. You must do more. You must be more. So what's the emancipation? The emancipation is moving from this victim mentality, moving from waiting for anyone to do it for us, and to realize that we have it in us to start pushing forward, to start making waves, to cause some disruption, to be a world shaker, to be someone who women meet and say, whatever she's sipping on, I want some of that. I want to be like that. So, who stole your dream? Who stole your vision? Is it circumstances? Is it situations? Is it a relationship? I want you to picture something in your mind. Imagine you have your home, you have your own place, okay? And then you go on a trip, a long trip. You're away for like a month, okay? And then the day that you come back, you go to your house. And while you're at the front door, you peep in. And there's somebody living there. They're wearing your clothes, sitting on your sofa, using your favorite mug, to pour themselves some tea, turning on your television, sitting there and having a good time? Will you just look at that, turn and walk away? Or maybe you look at that situation and say, okay, I'll sleep in the garden. Maybe you find that situation and you say, well, you know, my front lawn, it's pretty good. I can sleep on the porch. Kale ka veranda kakule nyuma, mvua ikinyesha, siwezi kunyeshewa. Would you do that? No, absolutely not. If you did that, it would be absolute foolishness. Because someone is possessing your possession. And yet, this is exactly what the children of Israel did. They went up until the promised land. They sent out spies to spy the land. And then the spies go to look at the land. They should have known in their mind that those people in Canaan, they're eating our food, sleeping on our beds, plowing our fields. And yet, 10 out of the 12 come with a victim mentality and say, those people are huge. We don't stand a chance. We saw ourselves as grasshoppers, and that's even how they saw us. As believers, this is what we do. Is that person not sitting on that seat that you're supposed to be in? Is that promotion not supposed to be yours by now? Is your business not supposed to be at the level that other business that you're looking at is? And yet, instead of us going to possess our possessions, we cower away. Help us with Joshua chapter 6, verses 1 to 2. Are we still here? We're still good. We're still receiving.
Now Jericho was securely shut because of the children of Israel. None went out and none came in. And the Lord said to Joshua, see, I have given Jericho into your hand, its king and the mighty men of valor.
Thank you. And the Lord said unto Joshua, Joshua, out of the 12 spies, only 2 of them came back with the right report, with the right mindset. And Joshua was one of the 2. The other was Caleb. And God is now speaking to Joshua after the unbelieving generation has passed on. Because when those 12 spies came back and the 10 brought a bad report, the people of Israel wanted to stone Joshua and Caleb, because they were saying, guys, let's go, let's do it. And the people of Israel are like, what? It's only 2 of you saying that. 10 of these guys said, if we go, we're fried. And God got so angry by that situation. He said, this generation shall not inherit the promised land. God gives a prophecy to Joshua. And the Lord said to Joshua, see, I've given Jericho into your hand, its king and its mighty men of valor. So this is a prophecy, if we can call it that Joshua is receiving from the Lord. He's prophesying that in that area that you want to have dominion, in that area that you want to take over, in that area that you want to go and have authority in, I've already given it to you. But you know the thing about prophecy? Prophecy is only foretelling of the future. Prophecy, it only tells you possibilities the possible future. So ladies, if you ever receive a prophecy, you don't fold your hand and say, hey, God has done it for me. Oh, the man of God, he said that by this time next year, I'll be having trucks coming from all over Africa, bringing in my goods. I'll be going in and out of China like that. Prophecy is only foretelling of future possibilities. You then need to make it happen. If you don't make it happen, you actually sabotage prophecy. It doesn't matter what was prophesied to you, that you're going to be a mighty woman in this field or that, a mighty woman of God, an entrepreneur, someone of authority, someone in governance, in the government, having jurisdiction over issues of this nation. It doesn't matter the magnitude of prophecy. If you don't work it out, it will never come to pass. So even though God had promised Moses the promised land, even though he even went on to promise Joshua this promised land, they still had to put in the work. Help me to read verses 11 of the same chapter. Or rather, verses 20 to 21 of Joshua 6.
So the people shouted when the priests blew the trumpets. And it happened when the people heard the sound of the trumpet, and the people shouted with a great shout, that the wall fell down flat. Then the people went up into the city, every man straight before him, and they took the city. And they utterly destroyed all that was in the city, both man and woman, young and old, ox and sheep and donkey, with the edge of the sword.
Thank you. Joshua was promised the promised land. And yet, they had to take action. They had to blow the trumpet. They had to go in. The Bible is saying they utterly destroyed what was in the city. Man, woman, ox, sheep. I want to ask you a question. If you come at someone with a sword, will they sit there and say, okay, this land was promised to you anyway, go ahead and cut my head off? So that means that they went into battle. Because you're going to possess what's already in someone else's possession. They don't play nice and hand it over to you. They put up a fight. But if Joshua had said, the Lord already promised me in verse 1 and 2 of this very chapter, I'm believing and trusting they will just abracadabra. And they'll just wake up and leave and will walk in and dominate. It would have never happened. It would have never happened. And when they're going into the city, they need to go in prepared. Because you're going to meet a man in his home, in the place that he's used to. He's not going to play nice with you. You're the invader. You're the threat. So how prepared are you, children of Israel, to possess your possession? How prepared are you, mighty woman of virtue, to possess your possession? It's not about prophecy. You can't just sit back and wait for it to come to fulfillment. It's not about praying to God for Him to magically just do it for you. Because that same God that you're waiting on and believing on might just be saying, go in this your might. Do you know, as a believer, most of us, we think that the blessings of Abraham are those that are meant to be spiritual in nature. When we talk about the blessings of Abraham, as believers, most of us tend to think that these blessings are spiritual. The blessings of Abraham are actually for dominion and prosperity. His own son, Isaac, he was blessed by his father. He wasn't seeing visions, dreaming dreams, and prophesying. My Bible tells me he sowed in that land and he reaped 100-fold. Someone who had been blessed by Abraham. That same Isaac who was blessed by his father, he prospered and he became exceedingly prosperous. Ladies, those are the blessings of Abraham. It's not just for you to be a prophetess. No. A prayer warrior. No. An intercessor. Those are the blessings of Abraham? No. The blessings of Abraham are what our theme is. Dominion. But you can't dominate if you don't change your way of thinking. We can't keep waiting for God to do it for us. We need to do it, and we need to do it now. You can't be praying these prayers, oh God, mamangu ni mjane, wewe ni Mungu wa wajane. Take care of her. Your mother should be on your payroll. Hivi tunaelewana? Every month, you're disbursing money to your parents. That's a woman of virtue. You're not waiting and praying on God, mtu atoke kule anakotoka, to come and take care of your biological mother, your grandmother, your father. Why? Go in this your might. Have you exhausted all the resources that God has placed in you? Have you exhausted the talents that God has placed in you? We can't be thinking of things like that. What are you doing in your society? I want you to live here challenged. I want you to live here realizing that there is more. There is so much more to me as a person, and so much more that I can do and that I can be. And we move away from these religious kind of prayers where we run away from responsibility and we want to put the responsibility on God. No, it is injustice to what He has placed in you. When I look at every single one of you, I do not see a failure. I do not see a woman who should be failing to make ends meet. What is your dream? When you think about yourself, where do you see yourself? When you think about your future, what do you see in your future? Me, ever since I was small, my mother, she's here. I used to tell her, Mom, I don't want to be broke. Yeah. I tell her, when I look at myself, I don't want to struggle. I want to make money. Where do you see yourself? What's your dream? nilikuwa namwambia maneno magumu sana. I used to tell her, hata watu nitauza. Yeah, by then I wasn't born again, okay? Namwambia hata watu nitauza, lazima nichomoke. Years and years and years of having this mindset. It was never a mindset of miracle money. I saw this clip. A pastor is waving his phone. He's telling the congregation, washeni tasju, washeni tasju, washeni nini. Say, ewe M-Pesa. Sijui nini. Muamala unakuja kuingia. Witchcraft under the sun. Why should you be waiting for miracle money? It's okay, God can do it. But that is not sustainable. You must have a method as a woman to generate income frequently from multiple sources. That Proverbs 31 woman is not the Proverbs 31 woman because she was too prayerful. Yes, she was. Because she was so giving. Yes, she was. And in fact, by the way, if you think prosperity is bad, you can't give if you have nothing. So if you want kuwatetea wanyonge, wajane, mayatima, you can't do it without money. She's not that Proverbs 31 just because of those. She's that because she had means, muscle, financial. What can you do? What's your dream? If you have a small dream, it's okay, my sister. It's not too late. But you can't live with that small dream that you came with. So comfortable to be on Instagram the whole day. You're not generating money. Upate kazi, ukose kazi, fresh tu. Unasubiri tu mitoko. That's the most you can do. Like for real? And then we go and take pictures at cars that are not our own. Yet we should be trying to make those our own. What can you do with what you have right now, with where you are right now? The angel of the Lord wasn't talking to Gideon and saying, go in this your might tomorrow, next week, next month, next year. He said, go in this your might, meaning now. Do it now. Whatever you're dreaming of, whatever you want to pursue, my sister, do it now. What is your dream? If it needs expansion, expand it. If your dream is to get married, that's a very small dream to a rich man. That's a very small dream. I saw this video on Instagram. It just came on my feed, and it was this lady. She's driving in a car and she's crying, and then there's words on it, and it says, I'm 39 years old, I think, no husband, no kids, not in a stable relationship, I'm useless. I said, what? But this might be your mindset. You're waiting for a man to come, sweep you off of your feet, to give you everything you ever dreamed about. And you don't have to work a day in your life. Sipping mekunja nne na remote ya DSTV, shopping sprees, holiday in Dubai. My sister, if your happiness can only be completed by a man, you are too weak. You are weak. Too weak. We need to work on that mindset first. We need to work on that mindset. If the only dream you dream about yourself is wearing a gown in the color that you're wearing now and walking down the aisle, and that's the most that your dreams go, you're too weak. There's so much more to life than that. It's good as men and women of God kutiana moyo kwamba Mungu atawabariki, mtaoa na kuolewa. I pray for you to get a husband. It's okay. But statistically, who are more, men or women? Hatuwapotoshi kweli? Perpetrating this kind of mindset in an impractical situation. That's why you need to free yourself of thinking that you need a man to marry you for you to fulfill your destiny. Those two things are not intertwined, and one is not dependent on the other. You're clapping, sijui kama mnanisikia. Probably you're clapping and you're saying, I hear you preach a lady, but I look at your left hand and what you're preaching is different. Even if I was not married, the person I am today, it would be that person. It's not impacted by a social relationship or status. It's impacted by what the Word of God says about me and what I know God placed in me for me to do. Go in this your might. Go in this your might. Do what you can with what you have right now. Make an impact right now. Get moving right now. You don't need someone to come and do it for you. You have it in you. You just need to get moving. Stop second guessing yourself. Stop belittling yourself, thinking that I don't even have the skill to do that. I don't even have this or that. No one is perfect. The same Moses who was a deliverer to an entire nation is the same Moses who said, Lord, I can't even speak. And yet we have a God who does not glorify your weakness, but rather it's in your strength that He elevates you. So sometimes it's best, ladies, to stop looking at your weakness. Mimi niko hivi, I can't speak in front of people. I don't have creative ideas. I'm not a hustler. I don't have this, I don't have that. Kwanza nikijiangalia mwenyewe nilivyo. Focusing on your weakness. I am yet to see someone who got ahead in life by focusing on their weakness. You get ahead in life by majoring on your strengths. That's why the angel of God, despite Gideon was a fearful man. Take it from me. You think you have fear? Someone is threshing wheat inside a place he should be stepping on grapes in. Someone, he sees the angel of the Lord face to face, and he knows it is him because the sacrifice is consumed. And it's Gideon himself who says, oh Lord, I have seen, you projected him, you can help us. I have seen the angel of the Lord, and he knew he has to die. And yet, receiving a word, knowing that this is surely God, this same man tests God how many times? Not once, 2 times. After knowing for sure that this can only be God. Oh, if the fleece is wet and the ground is dry. If the ground is dry and fearful man. Because when the angel encounters him, he starts by saying, but if God is truly God, what about my circumstance? What about my situation? What about what I'm going through? And God is saying, look not on your weakness, woman of virtue. Go in this your might. Refine your strength. Focus on your strength. Know the area that you are good in, that in this area I'm good. And that's what you build on. You don't spend every waking moment thinking about how slow you are, how fearful you are, how not confident you are, how you second guess yourself or the bad business decisions you've made in the past. Maybe you're in debt. Maybe you're in a wrong, problematic relationship. Maybe you've had a string of problematic relationships. You've lived a life that is, you don't focus on that. God doesn't focus on that. You need to start to see yourself through the eyes of God. And he says, go in this your might. Doorkeepers, you can come up. Tell that lady next to you, go in this your might. Go in this your might. You must desire to succeed. If you're going to live here with anything, live with that desire to succeed, to dominate. It can't just be a theme. I would want us, WOV, to be the first partakers of it. Dominate. Do you know, success, it gives you a platform. When you're successful, people, they want to listen to you. What you say, it matters. It has weight. Lakini kama unasubiri kupewa tu, kupokea miracle money, kununuliwa sijui nini, when will you ever have an impact? You must desire to succeed. There is nothing wrong with that. There's no sin in that. In wanting to be great, there must be something in you that says, there is greatness in me. This my level. This is not my final level. There's a glory, there's a level that I need to get to. There's a me that I need to see. So we don't wait on God to do it. I want us to move past that. We go and we make it happen. We can't be here until this time. in this unfinished venue. Thank you so much for bearing with us. You know, I look at Vitamba coming on the stage and all of that. And we stay here for all this time and we live exactly the same way. I want to see testimonies that I changed the way I think. And I noticed that I can have even 3 businesses now. Multiple jobs now. Perform at such a level that people look for you. That's being a woman of virtue. The Proverbs 31 woman was exemplary. She was the best. You don't need to interview for jobs. They come to you. Go out when you want, as long as you deliver. After that, another company and another company. You need to be so exemplary. Even if you're in the career space, because maybe you're feeling, she's talking about business, she's talking about this and exploits and this, it doesn't apply to me. It applies to you even if you're in the career space. Be someone who is impeccable. You're on time. You perform, you deliver, you're closing those deals, you're making it happen. Be the best. We don't sit back and wait for God to make us the best. You need to go out and make yourself the best. Ladies, kwa sasa hivi, if there is a skill that you don't know, there's YouTube. Pretty much anything you want to learn right now, you can learn it online. You don't need to go into a physical class. I'm not just talking about makeup tutorials or how to make a perfect circular chapati. Even things like public speaking, financial literacy, law, all of these are things that you can learn online. What are you doing to improve yourself? Umekaa una scroll Instagram. Sijui leo, sijui nani, Zuchu, sijui nani, kavaa nini, kaenda wapi, for what? And then what? And woman of God, they don't even follow our pages. They are busy following who? For what? Use that time on your device. Learn a skill. Grow yourself. Improve yourself. You don't know how to do eyebrows until today. There's YouTube videos for that. Hey, me, I learned from there. Oh. You don't know how to color coordinate for an interview. Interview tips. Those are online. I sit with ladies and they tell me, I'm so scared for interviews. When I go, I forget. Point zote zina. Do you know you can learn how to master interviews online? To the point, hata nikipigiwa simu now, niambiwe una interview in the next hour, I'm comfortable. And I know I'll get it. Those are skills you can learn online. What are you doing with your phone? Tunasoma those Telemundo kind of romance novels. Ndio maana unaishia kudhani that the best thing that can ever happen to you is to wear a white dress. What are you doing with your time? What are you doing with your device? What are you doing with that data subscription that you have? What are you doing in that job that you have? What are you doing with that business? Are you really happy having a business that's performing the way that yours is performing? Is that all? Have you really tapped the market? Have you really pushed the limits, the boundaries? Have you really done and given it your all? Go in this your might.